All right, I'd like to call to order the February 15, 2022 meeting of the West Palm Beach Planning Board. Madam Clerk, if you kindly call the roll.
Stephen Mayans,
Present?
Deborah Rain,
Present.
John Hicksenbaugh,
Here.
Henry Smuckler,
Here.
Carla Bryant, Kathleen Ward,
Here.
Andres Pedelo, Peter Pico.
Here. Okay, thank you. The next order of business is approval of the December 21, 2021 minutes. Has everyone had the opportunity to review them? And if so, are there any changes or corrections? No. If not, may I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion, have we a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Next on our agenda is report of the planning staff.
Good evening, Chair, Planning Board members. Angela Van, Planning and Zoning Administrator. We'll introduce ourselves to our new clerical specialist, Tanya Way. Should be sitting in for now until we actually hire an administrative assistant here. Just to give you an update on the cases that basically has been,
Thank you.
here since your last meeting, I guess would have been in December of last year. Happy New Year, hey everyone. This City Commission meeting on January 10th was approved by the City Commission by a 5-0 vote, and you heard this case on October the 19th, and also approved by a 5-0 vote. This was the Flagler Towers, you remember. This was a project that actually staff recommended denial based on the height. Board did recommend approval. City Commission did recommend approval for 354 feet high and 109 units. That was approved unanimously by the City Commission. Next one was January 24th. Cases was approved by a 5-0 vote, and you had cases that were heard by the Planning Board on November 16th. And you had one was a 6-1 vote, and the other was a 7-0 vote. And Planning Board, December 21st, was a 4-0 vote. And this is the Alaba, I don't get it right, residents, old scuba club residents. Basically, it was approved for 55 units and approximately 21 stories. City Commission did approve that. Palm Beach Atlanta University, Community Service Plan Development. This was a major amendment to add a sign program to allow banners and pole signs you see below. And the commission did approve that. This is Rosemary Square East and South, and this was to allow expand the boundaries of it and to create Rosemary Square East sub-area, which is in this area, 2 25-story buildings, and to create the Rosemary Square South right here, which was an 8-story building. And again, we should approve that. And the last was February 7th, so 5-0 approval, and Planning Board heard this on November 16th and approved this on 7-0 vote. And that was the Nora District, as you remember, to implement the DMP element of the comprehensive plan, to amend it, amendments to the downtown master urban regulations, and the rezoning of this area to the new Nora districts and rezoning of portions of Beresford Park to recreate this big new development that's coming in this area. And that concludes staff presentation at this time.
Okay, any questions of staff? All right, that brings us then to remarks by the chairperson. I have two things I want to bring up. First, as many of you know, I was involved in a bicycling accident at the end of November. Just as an aside, I can pass on some wisdom. If you're going to be involved in an accident between a car and a bicycle, much better to be the one in the car. It resulted for me 7 broken bones, 2 operations, another one to go, 9 days in the hospital. But my recovery is going well. By April, I hope to be using just a cane, and by May, I hope to be walking normally. I've been the recipient of so many acts of kindness, including some people I've come to know from my time with the planning board. It's meant a lot, and I just thank you all so much. The second thing I want to bring up, I understand it's Ms. Ward's last meeting with us, is that correct? That's right. Well, we're very optimistic for you. I think Peter has something he wanted to say.
Just remember what the planning board says goes.
Yeah, it's just a helpful reminder when you join the commission. All right, that concludes my remarks. Next on the agenda is declaration of ex parte communications. Does anyone have anything to disclose? Okay, then next on the agenda are continued cases, of which there are none, which then brings us to planning board case number 1445 JJ. Would everyone, forgive me, would everyone who plans to speak or offer testimony this evening please stand up, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be truthful? Thank you. All right. I think we hear from the applicant first.
Good evening. For the record, Josh Lawn, AICP Certified Planner with the Gunster Law Firm. Here for Planning Board case number 1445 JJ. This is for the Icon, the CMPD Marina. So, as you may recall, some of you have been on the board for a while. This particular plan development has been in the works for 8 years. What you see in front of you here is the actual approved master plan with the different PBAs, which stands for permissible building area. The Icon project is the area that's highlighted in red. These towers are under construction right now. And during the time of construction, it was noticed that the north tower did not have a drop-off for people pulling up in this area right here. And so because we do get quite a lot of rain in South Florida, it was important to add a drop-off there. The drop-off is permanent because of its location next to the coastal. We had to make sure that it could sustain high winds. But we needed to amend the design guidelines to allow for that setback encroachment, which is what we have done. Also through the final design of the project, realized that the tiki hut for the beach club, the area that we wanted to provide that open air tiki hut, needed a setback amendment as well. So we've proposed a revision to the design guidelines. As you may recall, the design guidelines is a 40-page document which covers the development and restrictions for the entire PD. We tried to anticipate everything 8 years ago, but sometimes you get into the final design and things get missed. So these are very minor, but they do require a major PD amendment to the design guidelines because they deal with setbacks. The drop-off area in the North Tower is 1 story, just for cars to pull under. The tiki hut's 1 story just for people to sit under, so very minor. Also through this application, there's the language that would replace the actual page of the design guidelines. It would just add these exemptions for encroachments for the porte-cochere and the thatch roof for the tiki hut. These are the locations. This is the site plan showing the location for the drop-off area in the North Tower. And then this is the location where the tiki hut or the thatch roof would be located for PBA 1, which is the beach club for the project. So that does conclude my presentation. Also, during this application, while we're going through construction, the school district, the elementary school across the street, brought up a question on one of the conditions of approval that was established 8 years ago for 40th Street. We were required to 2-lane that. But through the school's operations over the last several years, they've come up with a plan where they'd prefer to keep it 1 way. So we met with staff. We had a traffic analysis updated by Kimberly Horn. We presented that to the city traffic engineer. And our traffic engineer and the city's traffic engineer both agreed that we could keep 40th Street 1 way to help the traffic and the backups with the elementary school. And we're going to provide some improvements, some wayward finding, some signage, some new pavement markings to help with the circulation patterns for the school. So that's also part of this amendment. We'll just be changing the language on that. And John can get into that more if you'd like, but that concludes my presentation.
right, thank you so much. Any questions of the applicant? Henry? John? Peter? Deborah? Kathleen, it's your last meeting.
I do have a question on the traffic calming, but I think it may be for the city, so I don't think it's, if they're involved more.
All right.
Good evening. For the record, John Roach, Principal Planner for the city. Thank you for being here this evening, and obviously I wish you a speedy recovery and back on the bike soon.
Well,
Although
not so
hopefully
sure about the second part, but thank you.
Stationary bike.
So this is a major amendment with regards to the Marina CMPD. It's been around for a number of years, as many of you longstanding members on the board can remember. I want to touch on the item with regards to 40th Street. With regards to the setback, I feel like the applicant, Mr. Long, provided the detailed information with regards to that, but just a little bit of clarity with regards to 40th Street. So this dates back to the approval in 2014, when Rybovich and the related group combined to create the Marina CMPD and the ultimate master plan for that. One of the conditions within there that you can see on the screen is that prior to the issuance of the building permit, that they had to obtain the necessary approvals and convert the roadway to two-way. The basis was to try and distribute traffic, through more east-west roadways, get them to the major thoroughfare as quickly and provide as many options to do so as possible. However, as they were ready to go through that permitting and head into construction with that conversion, concerns were expressed by the school district. They looked at their bus circulation, they looked at parent pickup and drop off and things like that. And there were concerns that there wasn't enough right-of-way, within the existing curb lines and things like that to accommodate the two-way traffic without creating a number of other issues. So the school district, the city, the applicant all came together, had those conversations. We requested that the applicant go back and reevaluate 40th Street and see what would happen if it were to remain as a one-way street. And so Kimley Horn performed that study in January of this year. They completed that. The conclusion of that was that 40th Street could remain as one-way as it currently is designed, and that the project would still be sufficiently addressed with regards to circulation. However, we did want to look at safety improvements in the vicinity of the school. So the city and the applicant are currently working out what those safety improvements are, crosswalks, signage, what have you. We will finalize that list before going to city commission, and that will become, their development order condition in place of this 40th Street two-way. We want to make sure that, we're getting the correct improvements given the situation. So we're continuing to work through that, and therefore we're recommending approval subject to the condition that was contained in staff's report and on the screen here, is that before the city commission hearing that list of safety improvements be finalized. That concludes staff's presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, we'll start with you, Kathleen. Did you have any questions?
Yeah, so, because Mr. Long mentioned just like, signs and things like that, are you doing other types of like more speed bumps, or are you just, because people fly down that road continuously?
Right, so the city's traffic engineer as well as the applicant's traffic engineer are working on what those final list of improvements can be or will be. I don't know exactly what that list, will end up consisting of, but signage, crosswalks, whether it'll contain speed bumps or not, I'm not sure. But we're working through what those will equate to.
Okay. As a resident of that street, I just want to throw that out there, that people speed constantly, and you guys did put one speed bump. While I'm appreciative, people still can fly over that one as well. So it's just a thought. But I am very happy that you guys aren't doing the two-way. It'll make a huge difference.
Right. And just so you know, the direction of the one-way is from west to east. So project traffic, traffic coming from the marina will not go on 40th Street as a result of it staying as a one-way. So it's just traffic heading eastbound that will stay.
Okay. Deborah, any questions? Peter? None. John? Okay. All right, thank you. Would anyone from the public wish to be heard on this application? And if not, we'll bring it back to the board. Does anyone have any concerns about the requests being made here today? And if not, I'll look for a motion for approval.
I'll move approval of case PB 5JJ, subject to the staff condition.
We have a motion. Have we a second?
I'll second, my last second.
Okay, our last second. Now we have to pass it because Kathleen seconded it. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. You tell Brian, see, it works best when he's not here. Pass it on to him. Please do. I want to be quoted accurately. All right, thank you so much. This is going to be a mercifully short meeting. We do have other business, is the election of board officers. So presently, I serve as chair, and Peter Pifko serves as vice chair. Does anyone have any questions as to this election process?
I bribed everybody already.
Okay. Then we open up for nominations. Have we any nominations for chair?
Yeah, I nominate Steve Mans for chair.
Okay.
Second.
Are there any other nominations? All right. If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, thank you. And now we're looking for nominations for vice chair.
I nominate Mr. Pivko.
Okay, we have a nomination for Peter Pifko. Are there any other nominations? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes unanimously. Thank you. Next is unfinished business, new business. Angela, anything?
No?
If not, we stand adjourned.
That's it?
And congratulations, Kathleen. Good luck on your election.